اهلا بيكم في كايرو دار. هنكمل اهم 100 سؤال في ماده البايو. اول سؤال معانا choose the correct answer. The reproduction of the plasmodium malaria to produce merozoites occurs by binary fission, fragmentation, regeneration, sporogeny. The reproduction inside the plasmodium malaria produce merozoites. So the merozoites are formed inside the hepatic cells and also inside the RBCs. That takes place by schizogony, which is called the fragmentation. So the answer is the fragmentation, which act as the right answer. But the next part of the question choose the correct answer. Follicle stimulating hormone is secreted from gravium follicle, pituitary gland, corpus luteum, adrenaline gland. The answer is the pituitary gland, because the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland is responsible for the secretion of sex hormones as the FSH hormone, LH hormone, and also responsible for the secretion of prolactin hormone. The next question. Choose the correct answer. Through the alternation of generations in fern plants, dots 2N is or are formed. The 2N is a sporophyte, spores, gametes, gametophyte. We understand that the spores is produced as a result of meiosis division inside the sporangium in the sporophyte. Gametes 1N, gametophyte 1N. So the answer is the sporophyte, which is formed at the gross or as a mitosis division of the zygote 2N, which is formed as a fusion or between male and female gametes. But the next choose is in the Drosophila ovum. If the Drosophila ovum containing the 4 chromosomes, the somatic cells will contain dots chromosome. The number of chromosomes inside the somatic cells of Drosophila is 8. The chromosomal structure of the Drosophila male is 6 plus XY, but the chromosomal structure of the female is 6 plus the female 6 plus XX, the male 6 plus XY. So the ovum is 3 plus X in the case of the female, but the sperm is 3 plus X or 3 plus Y. So the male gametes and the female gametes 4, but the somatic cells 8. The next question. Upon exposure, exposing the larva of the Drosophila to 16 degrees Celsius, the wings of their adults after the metamorphosis grow to form longer, straight, curved, shorter. We understand that the wings formation or the shape of the wings depends on the temperature with the presence of the larva or the ovum inside the test tube. So if the temperature of that surrounds the test tube, which containing the ovum or the larva, is 16, the wings will be straight. But as the temperature 25, it will be curved. So the question asks about the temperature 16 degrees Celsius, that's the straight wings. But the next part of the question, the sex chromosome Y may be found in the grasshopper ovum. Grasshopper means the locust. The locust is called grasshopper أو الجراد. الجراسهوبر in general احنا نعرف انه XX and XO، يعني ما فيش Y في الجراسهوبر، فاحنا هنستبعد الاوفم والسبرم اوف جراسهوبر. طب بيردس اوفم اور بيردس سبرمز، احنا نعرف ان المان دروسوفيلا mammals male XY and the female is XX, but in the Perdis, butterfly and some fish the opposite. That means the male XX and the female XY. So the female in the Perdis is the XY. So the Perdis ovum which containing the Y chromosome. The next question. Write the scientific term. A part of the brain contains cells secretes hormone of the neurohypophysis. The two hormones of the part or the second part of the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland consists of two main parts, the adenohypophysis and the neurohypophysis. Adenohypophysis secretes 6 hormones, but the neurohypophysis secretes 2 hormones. The 2 hormones which are the oxytocin hormone and antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin, they secreted from the hypothalamus, which act as a part of the brain responsible for the secretion of the two hormones which are secreted from the neurohypophysis part of the pituitary gland. So the first part, or the answer of the first part, is the hypothalamus, which act as an intermediate link between the nervous system and the endocrine gland system. But the next part, a hormone regulates the vascularity of the uterus wall during the pregnancy. The hormone which is responsible for the vascularity or increase the blood capillaries in the endometrium is the progesterone hormone. But the last part, a hormone which is secreted from the corpus luteum, placenta and uterus. لو قال لي كوربس ليوتيم بس كنا هنقول استروجين وبروجستيرون، لو قال لي كوربس بلاسينتا بس هنقول استروجين وبروجستيرون، لكن علشان قال لي يوترياس واليوترياس بيعمل سكريشن اوف ريلاكسين هرمون، علشان كده the relaxin hormone is the hormone which is secreted from corpus luteum, uterus, corpus luteum, placenta and uterus. The next question. Write the scientific term. A girdle consists of two halves fused at the pubic symphysis. Pubic symphysis يعني the pubis of one half and the other pubis of the other half. They located at the ventral side of the pelvis, which is called the pubic symphysis. So the girdle is a pelvic girdle. But the next part of the question, the cells which secrete the fluid to nutrate the sperms inside the testis. The cells inside the seminiferous tubules of the testes that are responsible for the secretion of nutritive substance to feed the sperms, and also they have an immunization function. That's the next part of the question, is the Sertoli cells. So the Sertoli cells are cells or long cells inside the seminiferous tubules inside the testes, responsible for the secretion of nutritive substance to feed the sperms, and also responsible for the immunization of the sperms, or responsible for increasing the immunity of the sperms to protect the sperms against the infection with any pathogen. So the answer of the second and the third part of the question is the Sertoli cells. The next question. Write the scientific term. Haploid cells change directly to sperms without division. The cells that change directly into sperms in the stage which is called the metamorphosis stage. The cells is called the spermatids. The spermatids is the uni or haploid cell. The haploid cell, one end, that change into sperm by the formation of neck region containing centrioles, and midpiece containing mitochondria, and the tail or caudal piece that to form the sperm. So the cells, or the question asked about the haploid cells which change directly into sperms without division, the cells is called the spermatids, that takes place inside the seminiferous tubules of the testes. But the next part is the phase when the gravium follicle release the mature ovum. Mature ovum. So the stage is the ovulation. That means the formation of ovum, when the pituitary gland secrete the FSH hormone. The FSH hormone stimulate the ovary to form a gravium follicle, and the gravium follicle need the presence of luteinizing hormone, which is secreted from the pituitary gland, to stimulate the gravium follicle to release the mature ova and change into corpus luteum. This stage is called the ovulation. So the answer of the first part is the spermatids, but the second part is the phase of ovulation. The next question. Write the scientific term. Nutritional tissue surround the embryo sac inside the flower ovary. لما بنيجي نرسم امبريو ساك بنرسم تيشو كده حوالين الامبريو ساك، بنعملها في شكل نقط، وبعدين نعمل التو انتيجومنتس، وبعدين الاوفري تيشو، وبعدين الاوفري وول. هو السؤال بيسالنا عن النيوتريتيف سبستانس that surround the embryo sac. The nutritive substance which surrounds the embryo sac is called the nucellus. So the nutritional tissue is the nucellus that surrounds the embryo sac inside the flower. But the last part in this question, it is the description of the external feature of the organism. If you want to describe the external feature of the living organism or the feature of the character, that's called the phenotype. But the description of the genes which the individual contains, that's called the genotype. But the question asks about the description of the feature of the external feature of the organism, that's called the phenotype. So the answer of the first part is the nucellus, but the answer of the second part is the phenotype. My dear students, that's the end of this part. Thank you very much. Goodbye and good luck.